Hello, let me talk about Chapter 9 of the Scarlet Letter, the Leech, which is apt and sort of well sets the chapter because the Leech is another name for a physician, and the physician in question here is Roger Chillingworth in the Scarlet Letter, and how he has attached himself to the Reverend Arthur Dimmesdale, obviously suspecting that the Reverend has a hand in the pregnancy of his wife of his wife. Now nobody knows that Roger Chillingworth is the husband of Hester Prynne. Indeed, it seems that his name has been lost in the bottom of the sea, as what the rumors has that Hester Prynne's husband has. Not the case. He made it over to the New World, was held captive by native peoples, learned a lot about their medicinal stuff, and thus has come into a little bit of suspicion, if we find as the chapter goes along, by the common folk, that he is a master of the dark arts that he has learned from the savages. We're not going to get it. This is the colonizers fresh off the boat, happily colonizing and subjugating and driving native peoples off their lands. So that's the kind of ideology we are going to get, obviously, at this point, and probably continuing, obviously, with Nathaniel Hawthorne's period of time when he wrote the book in 1850. They were still doing all this. They were doing all this stuff. It was an active campaign to drive native peoples off their lands so that it could be used for the colonists. This section has that really kind of delightfully dark at the beginning part of this tone, where it's like how you shouldn't probably, if you have any secrets, you probably wouldn't want to keep close company with a physician, because as the more that they kind of get their sympathy and investigate your troubles, I'm gonna get that fly, I didn't get that fly, that you're apt to start speaking your innermost thoughts without realizing it. And that, yes, Chillingsworth is definitely tunneling. It's funny, the book refuses to say, and what's the obvious thing, which is that we, the reader, and Roger Chillingworth suspect that he did get busy with Hester Prynne, and the result was Pearl, her out of wedlock child that was born, and that she refuses to say who the actual father is, who is the man that she dallied with, because it wasn't Roger Chillingworth, who had been separated from Hester Prynne for many a year. So yeah, it's got a really delightful thing of how, and at the beginning it's how there's a good the strong kind of the more open contingent of the community has been like, oh, thank goodness this doctor came, and they even engineer it so that they can move in together, so that he can tend to the doctor who refuses to become to find one of the comely maidens who's been like, I'd like to marry you, before, because that apparently isn't for what he is, probably Protestant, Puritan Protestant, whatever sect. It's like marriage isn't forbidden, but he will not marry. So the next best thing, let's get the doctor in, and the doctor is caring for him and is bending all his will. And the unstated thing, which makes this kind of delightful, is that he's obviously checking to see, it's like, are you so haggard and ill because of a guilty conscience, because that you've broken your vows and have impregnated Hester Prynne? That's all the unstated stuff that is going on. Now it seems the other half of this is that there's other people, and how do they put it? They put it basically, you get such a large-hearted community, people with like a kind of their intuition will take over, and they'll look beyond what this guy is like. And they note that he's become looking more and more evil as things have gone on, that perhaps he's been brewing satanic things, and thus his face is getting more sooty. And yes, that he's perhaps learned dark arts from native peoples, that he's seems to be actually, perhaps he is like with a lot of saintly people, that Dimsdale has been cursed with a Satan, or an emissary of Satan, to do battle with. And just judging, and it's like at the very end of the chapter, it is, alas, to judge from the gloom and terror in the depths of the poor minister's eyes, the battle was a sore one, and victory was anything but secure. And I just love the gloom and the terror and the depths. It's like it's very kind of baroque, dark, darkly satanic, romantic kind of writing, which is it's fun to read out loud. And you can definitely see the kind of the moral kind of, it's fun. It's fun to read, and it's a very dramatized kind of moral struggle, versus maybe kind of, and I mean, it's coming from these characters who are who feel intensely. They talk about Arthur Dimmesdale being someone who feels things very intensely, internally, deeply. And it's not surprising that their story has that kind of tenor to it, because it embodies the characters of Dimmesdale and of Prynne, and of Roger Chillingsworth himself, who seems to, maybe the other implication from this is, the more he is hunting for the person who has wronged his wife, or who has sucked his wife into shame and ostracization from the community, it's twisting him as well. And even if he is an emissary of Satan, it's twisting him, making, all his focus is on hunting man, and that turns you into a bit of a monster yourself. So those are thoughts about Chapter 9, The Leech, in The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I've been Jay. More videos later.